Hello, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to pick up stitches when the right side is full of purls, so it's in the reverse stockinette, so that there is no seam visible. This technique is specific for Ensilumi Sweater and Ruska Pullover. By the time I'm recording this tutorial, this technique might be used even in other patterns, and you can see the full list in the description box down below. So, this is a little sample from Ensilumi Sweater. This is my cast on edge, and this is where I bound off. You can just see the cable which goes along the upper part, the lower part of the yoke, and this is the diamond crossing. The first row is a wrong side row. So when you work with the pattern, this is what you see. This is your cast on edge. And for this pattern, I recommend using just the regular long tail cast on. And then the first row is full of knit stitches because it's a wrong side row. And there are two purl stitches because you have two knit stitches here, so the cables. And then, of course, 4 purl stitches for the 2x2 cable. When you look at the cast on and the first row, you'll see that every knit stitch column ends with this little purl bump. Every column has it. It's here for this column. It's here. For the first one, it's here. It's not visible, but it's there. You can see it. Every V has this kind of chair seat. And this is what you need to work with. So before you start with this picking up of the stitches, you might want to just loose them a bit so you can work with them easier. The purpose of this is you are going to bring those purl bumps to the right side of the fabric, and then you can knit them or work them. So the first step is only to pick them up, and then you're going to work the first row of the pattern of the left front or back yoke. It's for Ensilumi Pullover, Ensilumi Sweater, sorry, and even Ruska Pullover. And it's important to pick them first because on the first row you need to cross these cables. So first you're going to pick them up, and then you're going to work them and cross them. And I will also show you how to pick up stitches for this cable, so it looks again almost invisible. So for this technique, I recommend using a crochet hook or circular needles or even DPN. The sweater and the sample is worked on 5mm needles, and I'm going to use 2.5, so half the size of the needles I used for the sample. And I will recommend using smaller needles because it makes picking up of the stitches much easier. If you're talking about the Ensilumi Sweater, you have several purl stitches on this side, and between those knit columns. It depends on the size you are knitting. So first you're going to need to pick up these purl stitches. I have 7 here. So without yarn, just with your needle, find your first knit column. For me, it's this one. Okay, and this is the purl bump I was talking about. And this purl bump needs to be brought to the front. So you go from front to back. Again, crochet hook might be easier for some, but you need to grab this purl bum and bring it to the right side of the fabric. Okay, the first stitch. Now you need to find the second one. It's right here. So also when you look from this side, you see this little loop. So you go into that loop and the purl bum is now on the top. I just want it to be below my needle and I'm going to bring it forward. I just picked up 2 stitches and you can see there's already this purl pattern emerging. It looks like if you were knitting or purling the other row. Again, through this loop, here is the purl bum and I'm going to bring it forward. So 4 more until I reach the knit stitch. Okay, so this is my row of picked up stitches. So at this point, I'm going to take a new ball of yarn and I'm going to work these stitches. So I just moved my needles and I'm going to purl the first row or the first 6 stitches I have here. And of course you need to grab your regular knitting needles, so in this case the 5mm needles, to knit or purl those stitches. This is the part of the first row of the chart I told you about, and you see it looks all like purl stitches. Now we need to pick up the rest and work it as well. So right now I need to pick up and knit the cable stitch, which is really easy. Just go into the stitch and see what you normally do for an knit stitch and pull the yarn through. So purl stitches and knit stitch. Now you need to pick these purl stitches again. I have 6 between the knit columns. For that I'm going to again use the smaller needle. You turn the work, you find the first purl bum, which is here, then the second one, which is here. You have one here, and you bring them to the front as before. So again, I have 6 picked up purl stitches. I'm going to move my needles. And now we have this situation, which is that you need to make a left cross. First, you're going to purl this one. And now you're going to cross these. So just, you can use cable needle, of course. I don't use cable needles, so I'm just going to bring my left needle under the knit stitch, slip both, and I'm going to pick the purl stitch here and put them like that. And I just made a left cross cable, one by one. One purl stitch, one knit stitch. Now I'm going to purl the rest of the purl stitches, which are 5 in my case. And now again, I have a knit stitch here to pick up and knit. So as usual, go into the stitch, and knit it. And now you need to make a right cross. So you need to change position of this purl stitch and this knit stitch. Again, you can use a cable needle or not. What I'm going to do, I'm going to insert my needle from the wrong side to the second stitch, the purl stitch, slip both stitches, and now I'm just going to grab this one and place it onto my right hand needle. And I just made right cross. This is the knit stitch and this is the purl stitch. Now what you need to do is to pick up purl stitches until you get to this cable. I have about 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 purl stitches here. And these are the purl bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which I'm going to bring to the front. Again, using the narrower needle. So now the only thing that's missing is to pick up stitches for this cable. As you probably know, for knit stitches, you can either pick them by inserting the needle directly into the stitch or between the stitches. If you do it between the stitches, it's basically invisible. Here you can do a combination. You're going to pick the first two direct by inserting the needle directly into them, and then the last two by inserting the needle between. Of course, you can pick all 4 of them by inserting the needle directly into them, but this creates a more neat result. So first one directly into the stitch, second one again directly into the stitch. Now you go between the stitch you just picked up and knit, and next one, and now again between the stitches, and now you have the last one, which is a purl stitch, but for picking up you can just pick up and knit it. That's not a problem for this row. Now I'm going to continue. I'm going to knit a few more rows and show you the results. So this is the result. The seam is right here. As you can see, it's really almost invisible. This is how it looks from the wrong side. Seam is there. And here is the cable. You can see this is the stitch. This one is the stitch you picked up between. So it goes really nicely. And this is where you cross them. Again, I think almost invisible transition.